and how important a role is AB playing? Amazing, like you said, that he can adapt from situation to situation. Take us through AB de Villiers and how big a role he could play going forward as well in this session now.
It's, we all get a little surprised when we see the amount of cricket that, people have played these days, and suddenly we stumbled on this fact that he's getting close to 90 test matches, which then compels you to look at his batting career. And I think one of the things that we always do is look at a batsman and his versatility, in various conditions to really know the true worth of a batsman. So when you look at AB's performance with the bat in various conditions, and the real test for a modern day batsman coming from South Africa is perhaps playing in England, because those conditions are different. Average of 54. India, turning pitches, average of 53. Australia, hard team, never easy playing in Australia, average of 44. And like all South African batsmen, playing at home is never, it's almost like playing away from home for Indian batsmen.
Yes, he's also got some staggering numbers with regard to batsmen in 2013. We'll show you in just a moment as to how highly AB de Villiers is ranked in contrast in this year itself. Daryll, the other element that India have got to keep in mind, just before I come to Daryll Cullinan, just look at the numbers that AB de Villiers has. Top batting averages in 2013. The qualification for that, of course, as you can see at the bottom, is we take batsmen only with a minimum of 600 runs. A huge average of 82. That's the highest on that list, and well ahead of Ross Taylor, who's also in staggering form at 66. Daryl, looking at AB at the wicket right now, one thing that you told me interestingly was when India took the new ball, that was an interesting phase. You said AB is going to go after them with that new ball. Was that something that made the difference? Did you see that period of play as the one that would probably decide which way the pendulum will swing?
I didn't sense a purposeful intent to attack. He didn't really have to. India are attacking at that stage. There were gaps were plenty, particularly in front of the wicket. Just coming back to those stats of his, they don't always tell a true story. It'd be interesting to see how AB has played under pressure when it really counts. And my immediate thought is he's been a man for all seasons. To help save a match, to attack. If we look at his overall career, he'd be one of your top 3 picks as a one-day batsman. And I've always enjoyed watching him play. He's just one of those guys that is entertaining.
Yeah, putting Daryll Cullinan's point in perspective, take a look at AB's performance under pressure. We've tried to qualify under pressure as coming into bat at number 5 or 6 when South Africa are 50 runs or less. It wasn't a situation this time, but it tells you the mental application of the man. Daryll, good numbers when South Africa have been in trouble. Largely they've needed him to bail them out because he didn't come in at an easy situation. What does that tell you of AB who's more than a batsman? What's in his mind?
Complete. I think you've got to get to the stage now where you would consider, after all the time that he's played, and the stats show that as well. And again, it's the question of the man, his ability under pressure. All round, he's proved himself to be, I think he's getting to that stage now, probably one of the best modern day players.
Yeah, I think all those numbers that you're seeing, that is where you're getting at. I also look at the strike rate of AB at home in South Africa versus India, and the strike rate is almost the same. So he's at home on Indian pitches like he's back home in South Africa. So seems like a complete player. A couple of technical things that I'd like to bring out in the way these modern batsmen play test cricket, like the batsmen of the 60s and 70s, the dead defensive bat. So important on this kind of a pitch. There were a couple of times good deliveries from Zaid Khan just kicking up, and these guys had their bat absolutely dead, which meant the edge wasn't carried. Now, so often we've seen, batsmen in the past, especially Indian batsmen in overseas condition, pushing at balls. And South Africans do it as well. In limited overs cricket, you'll see them just hitting through the line. But great sort of, curbing of natural instinct, dead defensive bat, and that saved so many times on this kind of a pitch.
I got to play one season with him. And what struck me, he was a young man then, what struck me immediately was that he didn't take himself and what he was doing too seriously. I think he's quite simple in his approach to batting. He enjoys batting and enjoys being an entertainer, and will always be, I think, a free scoring type of batsman. He won't get, like a lot of batsmen, get caught up when form becomes an issue and how they're going to get themselves out of it.
Okay, and one other interesting attribute of AB de Villiers, like the gentleman beside on my right are just mentioning, is there's no real weakness that you see of AB de Villiers. You take a look at the figures that you have when it comes to playing spin and playing pace bowling. You can see good numbers consistently, averages over 56 against spin, averages over 50 against pace. Tells you that he leaves the opposition captain with very few options, does AB de Villiers. Last word on AB de Villiers, Daryll, before we move to the Indian bowling, and I'll have Sanjay say a few things on that. Will AB de Villiers be the key with regard to South Africa in this last session? Will they tell Faf, you hold up one end, and tell AB, you go for the runs, play some shots, and let's see if we can actually chase this down?
I think that would be the approach. Whether Graham Smith decides, look, we're going to be that bold and do exactly that, we don't know. I think the first half an hour after tea will tell us that, but I've just got a sneaky feeling Smith's going to go for it.